Good morning. Committee on Parole is reconvening. It's 10:04 a.m. We are now at St. Tammany. My name is Cheryl Renatza, serving as chairman of today's parole panel. Mr. Chuck Tillis is seated to my left. Mr. Danny Byra is to my right. Would the staff officer at St. Tammany introduce himself for the record, please?
Corporal Jonathan Lott.
Corporal Lott, thank you so much again today for accommodating us. And we have Mr. Orange in front of us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
Vernon Orange, number 180943.
Yes, sir. And we do have joining us by Zoom, Crystal Orange, who would like to speak, and we'll call on her at the appropriate time. Mr. Orange, we are here today. You were scheduled last month in September for a hearing, and at that time you elected to continue that hearing so that you could get retained counsel. Do you expect counsel this morning?
No, ma'am, Ms. Renatza, and I've spoken to my parole officer since that time, and if it'll save the board time and myself, there's some discrepancies in the facts, but there's nothing that I'd like to, call myself or admit that I'm a technical violator, and if possible.
Tell you what, we're going to go through the process, okay? I want to be sure we do everything just perfect. So I'm going to read the allegations against you, after which you'll enter the plea of guilty or not guilty, and then we'll hear what you have to say. You're accused of violating the conditions of your parole, specifically condition number 3, which says on or about July 7, 2022, you absconded from supervision. Multiple attempts were made to locate you by phone calls and physical attempts by your supervising parole officer. A parole warrant was subsequently issued for your arrest July 7, 2022. You were arrested on said warrant in Jefferson Parish on June 26, 2024. So how do you plead to violate number 3?
I left the residence without my parole officer knowing.
Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Okay. We're going to get through the pleas and then you can tell us about it.
Yes, ma'am.
Number 7, condition number 7, you failed to truthfully and promptly answer all questions directed to you by your parole officer when on or about July 7, 2022, you absconded from your parole supervision. Parole warrant was subsequently issued for your arrest July 7, 2022. You were arrested on said warrant in Jefferson Parish, June 26, 2024. So how do you plead to violating condition number 7?
Not guilty, Ms. Renatza. I can't answer any questions if I don't see him, and
Okay.
I did abscond.
Well, we're going to go on.
Yes,
Condition
ma'am.
number 1, you failed to allow visits to your residence by your parole officer when on or about July 7, 2022, you absconded from your parole supervision. Again, a parole warrant was subsequently issued for your arrest July 2nd, 2022. You're arrested on that warrant in Jefferson Parish, June 26, 2024. How do you plead to number 9?
Guilty.
Okay, so tell us what you want us to know.
Well, there's some discrepancies in the facts, but I'm not here to try and make anybody look bad or myself, but I had no intentions of absconding. I've been through some things that were pretty rough and that were overwhelming. I've never missed a payment on my parole fees. My phone number's never changed, and my email was always present on paying my fees. It's present and reconfirmed. I never heard from him, and I thought he was going to call me. It didn't turn out that way, and that's why I would like to waive my rights and plead guilty to being a technical violator and accept the 90-day penalty. Hopefully the board will, at its discretion, see fit to put me back on parole with Mr. Harrison and take it from there. I've had a perfect record upon leaving Angola and 6 years with Mr. Hall, who never had a problem contacting me. I'm just pleading that in my defense I wouldn't let this happen again, ma'am.
Why'd you abscond?
The definition of absconding, I'm not really certain of what it is, but I had
Supposed
no
to live at
choice
your
but to
address of
leave.
record. You're supposed to live at your address of record, your approved residence. The last
I left
contact,
due to damage to the condo we were living in, the fact that the owners of the condo were my girlfriend's family, and they wanted to fix those small repairs there and sell the condo, and we would ask to leave, and we did.
when was that?
I don't remember the exact date, Miss Renata, but my daughter's here and I went to stay with her after the hurricane. I don't remember the exact date.
You're pretty good with the other details.
Well, I have no choice, man, but to say I absconded because I did it without his knowledge and I couldn't reach him thereafter. I didn't mean to abscond, and everything in my record would show that. I've worked too hard to give it up just for leaving. I wouldn't have done that.
So Hurricane Ida was in August of 2021. The last physical contact was made in November of 2021 in Slidell.
I'm not sure that's correct, Mr. Renata, but I have no way to disprove it, and that's why I was gonna.
Yeah,
You know,
I have
I-
narratives in the record. So why did you leave? So when you left Slidell, where'd you go?
To my daughter's house.
And that's where?
It was on number 107 Military Road in Slidell, ma'am. And I did try to contact Mr. Harrison. I didn't get a response.
How many times you try?
Ma'am,
How many times did you try?
a few. I really thought Mr. Harrison was gonna contact me. Mr. Hall
Well,
always did.
tried. There was an appointment letter left February 2022, February 11th, February 26th. Attempted phone calls, May 13th, 2022, May 23rd, 2022, June 4th, 2022. Called your
Where were they
family.
left, Miss Renata?
22.
Where were those left?
Oh, I didn't make those notes. I'd have to dig in the record to find out, but
Well, I was
they
gone.
tried to find. But
Well,
it's
none
your
of my,
responsibility to get in touch with him. It's
yes,
not
ma'am,
his
it is, and
responsibility.
that's why I was gonna plead guilty as a technical violator. I didn't mean for this to happen, and I stayed with my daughter, my sister. Ma'am,
I asked Mr. Barra if he had any questions of you.
Do you know that it's your responsibility to report to the parole officer, not his responsibility to report to you?
I do now by all means, sir.
I see you're a fifth offender. How many times have you been on parole or probation before in your life?
Only once, sir. I've served my time in Angola. I was in for 20 plus years.
How did that, so you never had supervision before this time?
No, sir, other than Mr. Hall, who saw, I got out in 2016. And he had me for, I guess, 6 years. Never had a problem with him.
Now, hey, he's asking you some questions.
Yeah, don't dig a deeper hole for yourself. I'm just trying to make sure that you know that it's not the parole officer's responsibility to check in with you. It's your responsibility to check in with him and make sure he knows where you're at, where you moved to, where you're working, what you're doing. It's your responsibility. Do you understand that now?
Yes,
Fully
sir, and I do
understand now?
understand it now.
That's all I have.
We're gonna hear from Crystal.
I'm sorry, I had to unmute you. Hi, how are you? Good morning. I want to say I'm not here to down Mr. Collin at all. I do not know him. I've never heard from him. I have lived in both places, 2 apartments. And the one I'm actually here now, I've been for almost 3 years. I have not gotten one contact from him. He's never come to my apartment. I don't know what he looks like. I've never spoken to this gentleman, and I'm his point of contact when he was put on parole. I have contacted Mr. Collin. I also have it in text message, and he has never yet to report or contact me about my father. Mr. Hall, I have, definitely. I've met Mr. Hall many places. I've talked to him. And again, I'm not here to down Collin, but he has not returned any of my phone calls yet either. I know that's my dad's responsibility, but I have to speak upon that. He
Okay.
does have family support. He does have his own income. He is on disability. And again, if he is let on the 90 days, he will be coming to stay with me. I will make sure that he gets a job. Yes, he has not missed a payment. I can pull up the paperwork that you just spoke upon with his girlfriend and when they were asked to leave because I have the letter, but it would take me a minute to go dig for it.
Well, thank you, Ms. Orange. We
Yes,
appreciate
ma'am.
this morning. Anything else you want to say, Vernon Orange?
No, ma'am, other than I've been through quite a few things that were overwhelming. As I said, I've suffered a stroke and a bad motorcycle accident. And
Since you've been out?
yes, ma'am. And it's not, again, I'm not trying to argue or say that I didn't leave the residence. Like I said, I'd like to plead guilty as a technical violator and with the board's discretion, receive parole back with Mr. Harrison.
So you've had some bad things happen. Yes, I agree. You've also had some good things happen.
I didn't hear you, Miss Renata. I'm sorry.
You said you've had some bad things happen. You just described to us. You've also had some good things that happened too since you've been out of jail, would you say?
Yes, ma'am. And I'm not trying to, as I said, it's my fault I violated and I wouldn't let it happen again if y'all see fit to put me back on parole.
Does any of this have anything to do with you winning the lottery?
No, ma'am, that was way back.
Right.
I was with Mr. Hall when that occurred and I bought a car and paid all my bills and nothing happened since then.
Session, could you call the roll?
Cheryl Ross.
Yes.
Danny Barrow.
Yeah.
Chuck Tillers.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Orange, we're going to be in executive session for a few moments to discuss confidential matters.
Thank you. So never used to moments. You need to keep this.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, no. Never mind, forget it. I'm working on a rounding job. Stop it.
We're running a full board right now. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Orange, we're back in regular session. It's 10:23. Can we have the roll call?
Sharon Ronaldo,
Yes.
Chucky Two,
Here.
Danny Barros.
Here.
All right, Mr. Orange, we're ready to vote. First, I'd like to find out Crystal's, what's her address?
516 Erlanger Avenue, Slidell, 70458.
Spell the street name?
ERLANGER.
How do you say that?
Erlanger.
Belanger. Okay.
Yes. It's right in
Alright.
front of the courthouse in Slidell.
Good. All right, Mr. Orange, I'm pretty frustrated with you. I think you're your own worst enemy. So, and you almost talked yourself into some trouble today, but we're gonna get around it. So I agree, I do find you guilty of violating condition number 379. You are correct. It is a technical violation. So I will vote to impose the 90-day technical violation. I will add special conditions. Once you're released, that you do reside with your daughter at 516 Erlanger Avenue in Slidell. And you will have a GPS monitor at your expense. That's my vote, Mr. Tillis.
I concur. I concur.
All right, so you'll be released once we get all the paperwork in order. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Ms. Renata.
Sign out at St. Tammany, it's 10:25.